Hey everybody, happy Friday. Hope you're doing well. I really miss doing this and I've been thinking about you guys and I can't wait to give you the most up-to-date news because I know there's been a lot of things going on. So let's get to it. Nationwide, the number of homes for sale rose 2% in the month of June. This is literally the first annual increase since 2019, before the whole pandemic came up, fueled a bunch of home buying frenzy and seeing competition in practically every single listing that came up. So now we're looking at a built-up of supply of homes due to the combination of the 5.5% interest rates and up, the higher home prices, and this faltering economy. So home buyers are backing up a bit, and this is what's cooling down the home buyer demand and balancing out the market. And since we're starting to shift into this balancing and cooling in the market, it is impacting the sales prices. According to Redfin, they're saying that they're still growing by double digits, but the 11% year-over-year increase is the smallest in nearly 2 years. Redfin chief economist Daryl Fairweather, he says that the country's economic woes have already cooled the housing market and they're likely to continue dampening the demand. He continues adding that the Fed has signaled that it may increase interest rates, which is going to further combat stubbornly high inflation, which could harm consumer confidence and lower stock prices, meaning fewer prospective home buyers can afford a down payment. I advise sellers to commit. If you decide to sell, do it quickly before demand potentially falls further. And price carefully. This is not the time to test the waters. You'll do more harm than good if you overprice and you have to do a price reduction or take the home off the market. I can agree with Daryl because, as he says, you don't want to mess around when it comes to listing your home and putting something ambitious. Let's put it that way. Ambitious, and you're like, nope, this is what I'm gonna get. I don't care what the comps say. You have to be very strategic and careful when it comes to the pricing because things, like I said, and like chief economist says, things are shifting. And we have to be actually looking at comps from, I wouldn't even go past a month ago because things have changed so much since then. You wanna be very careful. And so this is when you talk to a professional who can understand that and guide you through this carefully. Let's say you price it ambitiously because you don't want to go any lower than that and that's all you'll sell it for. Well, you're putting yourself at risk there, and I'll be honest, because if we're seeing that homes are selling for a little less than that compared to your home with the same conditions, same number of bedrooms, people are gonna wonder what's going on. It's too high and they won't even consider it. You're gonna want to lowball the house and you're not going to accept them because they're too low, and the house is going to continue sitting and sitting until you get, let's say theoretically, the right offer. But the thing is, the longer it sits on the market, the more people are going to wonder why it's been sitting on the market, and they're going to wonder, well, what issues does this house have that it hasn't sold? And there's a lot of judgment behind that, and there could be nothing wrong with the house. It's just the price that's off. This is why we need to sit down and strategically look at everything, all the behavior activity going on around in the neighborhood, in your specific neighborhood, because every neighborhood is different. You have to tailor to your neighborhood, and from there we can then price it strategically and aggressively where we can sell the house. It's all about the little details and ultimately your goal here and what you need from this sale and making it happen. Back on track, we were talking about how a lot of home buyers have backed out and are kind of sitting on the sidelines. The thing here is there are still buyers, and these buyers, even though they're seeing higher monthly mortgage rates, let's say they could still afford to purchase during this time. If they are, we're noticing that they are taking those inspections and appraisal contingencies serious. They're giving themselves enough time to get those inspections done in the home do their investigations, and make sure that everything looks good. Before, during the pandemic times and when things were just insane, flying off the shelf, people were writing off and completely waiving those inspection contingencies because it was a good deal. Let's just get the house. Now, since things are getting a little more expensive, they're trying to make sure this is worth their investment before committing for it 100%. And these contingencies, by the way, those are there to protect the buyers. So let's say in the offer, they wrote that they want 10 days for their inspection contingency. That means they have 10 days to get all of their inspections done and do all their investigation about the house. And if within those 10 days they see that there's too many issues, repairs they don't want to pay for, they have every right to cancel there and then. In order to prevent something like that from happening, sellers need to be a little bit more flexible with negotiations and opening up to potential credits, towards certain repairs. And so this is where you really want to work together if you don't want to lose the deal. I emphasize this point a lot about sellers becoming more flexible when it comes to inspections, because just recently, as of July 11th, Redfin posted this article that nationwide, roughly 60,000 home purchase agreements were canceled and fell through in June, just June alone, equal to 14.9% of homes that went under contract that month. That's been the highest percentage on record, with the exception of March and April of 2020, when the pandemic hit and things just kind of came to a halt. One other really good suggestion I would make before selling your home, if there's major repairs that you see that should get done, I would definitely work on that before listing it for sale. That way you don't have to worry about that headache of the buyers finding these issues, and then you get these high rates and quotes from these guys when you could have totally paid way less for that. So just to kind of save you that headache, and even giving them like an inspection report, like, hey, I just got this inspection done a week ago. You could take a look, and of course let them do their inspections, and they'll see that they had the same type of results. Just little tasks that can really save that deal. A lot of buyers are backing out, but it's not just because, let's say, a lot of things come up in inspection. Things can be perfectly fine about the home, but what we've been obviously seeing are these rates that have increased so much. And let's say buyers going in 5% and then finding out towards the end that it went up to 5.8, they didn't lock the rate, and now they can't afford the home. They're having to back out of these deals. It's also important to note that this is another side of the slowdown in the housing market. It's a combination, but look, there's buyers still everywhere. And even though some have backed out, there's a lot of cash buyers that don't even faze them because they don't have to deal with loans. So if you have to sell, yes, sell and know how to sell it properly. That's why you hire your professional to guide you through that process. If you don't need to sell right now, then hang on, just wait. And same for buyers. Buyers, if you need to buy now, there's ways, trust me, there's ways. And we can definitely connect you with the right lender to give you all the options there are to offer. You just never know. If you're a buyer that doesn't have a lot of down payment, you're kind of struggling, I would still suggest that we connect you to a lender to just game plan for you what you need to do and what it will take for you to be prepared. Not to qualify you per se, just to prepare you. So you're not just kind of hanging around and, okay, just guesstimating, okay, I'll be ready. I should be ready in 2 years. I had so many articles for you guys that I kind of just took some of that information, and I'll post the link from the articles that I took that info, and I kind of gave you a spin of my advice based off of that and what you should do from here. And based off of this inflation, I know that it's kind of scary knowing that we've hit the 9.1%. But here's the thing. Yes, it's the highest that we've seen in over 40 years in the US. But take a breather. Don't watch too much of the news. And these are some key points that I took away from an awesome financial advisor that I follow on Instagram. I'll give you his information, but his name is Jeremy Schneider. And he says these things. Focus on your lane. So just stay on your path because everybody has their own path. Pay down your debt, live below your means, and invest early and often. So just focus on you and what your game plan is, and you'll be okay. It's all going to be okay. Things are going to adjust. What goes up must come down. Everything will balance out. I hope you found today informative. I missed talking to you all, and if you have any questions or need assistance, further information, please feel free to reach out. That's what I'm here for, and I'll see you next time.